The last year for Disney has been an absolute nightmare. We saw their stock price crater, the worst year they've had in nearly half a century. We saw box office disappointments. And in streaming, what Disney told us was going to be the next big thing, the thing that they decided to double down on, invest so much money in while losing billions of dollars every quarter, they even got bad news in that arena.
Hey guys, it's Matt. Maybe we do live in sort of a modified solipsism, and there are a very small number of real people here. Remember during the Rings of Power, I said I watched these movie reviewers because I personally couldn't comprehend, as a Lord of the Rings fan, I tuned in and couldn't comprehend how bad, made bad on purpose, Lord of the Rings of Power was. Well, YouTube still shows me a lot of these movie reviewers, and month after month, quarter after quarter, year after year, these movie reviewers, Ryan here, The Critical Drinker, Nerdrotic, they just run the same scripts, repeat the same things. It's so frustrating. They don't see that it's made bad on purpose. They don't see that it's not just a gigantic script that Disney lost billions and billions of dollars off their market cap, and what's going on with this guy Mulvaney or whatever with Bud Light. They don't see it's a gigantic script. 100% is so obviously planned out on purpose. What are you saying, Matt, that Disney wanted to lose $123 billion off their market cap and Bud Light wanted to be billions and billions in the hole over their can? And of course that's what I'm saying. Of course Disney is playing its part on behalf of the not milk, knowing these losses would come. They're reimbursed on the back end by the Federal Reserve or whatever system runs this place. Of course these losses, this woke backlash is all on purpose. But I struggle with, what do these movie reviewers really think? Now, are they in on it? Of course not. But generally, of course, they know where their bread is buttered. They know their job is just to scream woke, 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 and their subscriber base will go up. And their job is just to scream SJW and this and that, and to call out the losses and to say how horrible Disney is and everything's being ruined, which is mostly correct, of course. But they'll never come out and say it's being ruined on purpose, which is what we see. Now, at some point, the common sense of it, you just waiting on Godot, waiting for the common sense of it to take over. I'll present the common sense argument. It's fun to do, or it's frustrating, but you guys know what it is. I'll do it after showing this one more clip. It's so common sense first grade that I don't know how everybody can't see through this. It's so frustrating. Not that Disney's playing its game on behalf of the not milk, but that nobody but us can see it once again.
Well, here we are, and the quarterly earnings report just came out, and it is yet another disastrous report for Disney. Disney Plus sheds 4 million subscribers in second straight quarterly drop, but streaming losses narrow by 26%. So don't worry, we lost less money this month, or this quarter, than we did the last quarter. Isn't that good news?
Guys, I can't express to you how many YouTube channels follow this exact same format. Channel after channel after channel, all basically calling out the same things regarding Disney and Netflix, using the same terms, of course: woke, SJW, cancel culture, race swapping, identity politics. Isn't it a little convenient how these terms just found their way in to our conversations like it's all part of a script? Of course it is. Here's some of the thumbnails. This is sad. Fail. Disney fans freak out after Little Mermaid talking about swapping one race for another. Bad news for Disney. We're effed. Disney loses over 4 million subscribers on Disney Plus. They just got wrecked. Netflix Black Cleopatra, again, another race, and drumming up more controversy. Disney pushes drag queens regarding Little Mermaid opening. Woke Hollywood actress makes shocking threat, which Charlize Theron playing her role came out and said. Okay, this shit is endless. Old guard, if you'll give me 2 minutes or less, there is a lot of newer people here. The channel's much larger than it used to be. Just have to do 2 minutes on the absolute basics. We know 100% that these content producers, where Disney's been the focus of it all since the piece of shit turd The Force Awakens came out in 2015, considering what it could have been one of the worst movies of all time. But there's been others. The ruination of Star Trek, the ruination of the Terminator franchise, what Amazon did with the Rings of Power, Lord of the Rings. We know they know exactly what they're doing. They're not trying to make it good and failing. They're not trying to get the best writers and not doing a good job. They're trying to make it bad on purpose. 100%. Part 2 of this story is Disney with a seat at the creepy table on behalf of the Not Milk knows there's two different types of people. There's a type of person like my friend Tony that said, yeah, Matt, it could have been better. You know, the last 3 Star Wars, yeah, the kids liked them. It's okay. They just don't see it. They just think, you know, with the woke, Tony doesn't like the woke and the SJW, but it just thinks there's a communist influence in Hollywood that's going to come out. And it's all explained by normal means within the, whatever would be in the toy box or whatever would be within the reality bookends. But then there's another type of person that the Not Milk knows is going to be highly offended and very upset. So they send out their army of these types of YouTube channels to drum up the anger. Okay, we'll talk a little bit later. What do these guys that run these YouTube channels know? Again, leave that for a conversation coming 5 or 10 minutes from now. But there's 2 parts. It's the actual making it bad on purpose, seeing what part of the population will react in one way. And for that segment, the millions of people that get upset, that are going to get pissed off, this army exists in social media to drum them up. Now, the most important thing is we see what's happening. We see every step of this. But we'll talk about it more. Why are they doing? Is it just about Loosh? Is it just about creating friction? We'll talk about that on the back end. But the 2 basics that we see that we're 100% sure about, almost nobody around us can see. Nobody outside of our own groups. It's actually 3 parts we're absolutely sure about. Number 1, the content creators like Disney are making it bad on purpose, by design. Number 2, they're not worried about the losses. They know the losses will come. They're reimbursed. They're at the creepy table with all the rest of them. Nobody's losing any money if you're a top executive at Disney. Even certain shareholders where the stock drops. I mean, who knows how they're reimbursed? The guy on the street that invested in Disney, he sees it go down 30%, or even small financial firms. But the big ones, who knows how they're even reimbursed? Or if they're in a mutual fund, the whole thing performs collectively. It doesn't matter what the Disney stock is doing. So that's part 2. Part 3 that we're 100% sure about is this army of YouTubers is doing exactly what the Not Milk wants. Guys, I know many of you don't follow entertainment news, so I'll bring you up to speed. The holier-than-thou truthers, or those that have received the Righteous Truther Award, have thrown out their TVs. Well, Matt, why are you covering entertainment news? This isn't entertainment news. It's Not Milk tactics. Don't you want to study your adversary? Why are you here at channels like this if you don't care about studying your adversary? Sometimes it's entertainment. Sometimes it's loosh. See, this is loosh to a degree for your friends and family and the people that fall for this bullshit. It's studying Not Milk tactics. Perhaps the main reason to come to a channel like this is just to help strengthen your armor. Old guard just sits in the front rows and they just yawn all day, but I'm glad they're still here. They know this shit. But okay, the most recent is Peter Pan. They take the old classic, they make it, quote, live action and ruin it. They swap races. They put in woke themes. SJW. It gets dark, depressing. There is no real comedy. It doesn't flow. Every single movie is a stinker. They know exactly what they're doing, but the movie reviewers and the people around it, they just can't figure it out. Why they keep ruining it? Why they keep ruining it? And we're so frustrated. We just could go, oh God, why are we the only ones that can see this? So, okay, Peter Pan, and I've seen it enough clips online where this literally does look like one of the worst movies ever made. If it was anything were real, it would never, ever get out of production. If anything were real, the people at Disney would say, this is a turd, go back and reshoot it. It's so obvious, it proves in and of itself that it's made bad on purpose. But before that was Pinocchio, Tom Hanks, the live-action Pinocchio, woke themes, just absolutely horrible. Now, The Little Mermaid's coming out in a few weeks. That has a different race Little Mermaid. I'm sure it's going to be the same thing. It's not going to come out and be great. It's going to follow the same exact scripts. And the movie reviewers will come out and say the same damn things. And it's like, okay, I mean, we'll talk about what is the role of these movie reviewers. What do they know about the role? Do they know what's going on? Do they work for an agency? Or is it simply the download and the frequency and they're on the radio station? They know where their bread is buttered, but they're not going to see Not Milk tactics, or they're never going to see it's made bad on purpose. We'll, I guess, debate that. I don't know exactly where I stand on that at this point. One of the main reasons for this video, because I have covered the topic before regarding the movie reviewers, is how blind everybody is in every single area. This is a completely different area, but the same thing is going on. And I'll show you a clip from the guy in the middle in just a moment. Apparently, there's this big thing where the Eagles and Don Henley are being very aggressive. If you just play your guitar for a YouTube video or you cover it or you're trying to teach people how to play Hotel California and that's how you make your living, oh, the Eagles are coming after you and they're not only blocking the video, they're getting strikes and all this stuff. Again, all by Not Nilk design. Don Henley and the Eagles on their own are doing nothing. Now, we can debate what they're aware of, whether they're on the download frequency radio station. They're doing exactly what the Not Nilk wants. Now, listen to this kid explain to Don Henley and the Eagles how much better it would be for their business model if they allowed people to play their music. It's first grade common sense. You don't think the Eagles are aware of what he's explaining to them? A first grader would be aware of what he's explaining to them.
The music world has changed very dramatically in the last 20 years, and major bands and publishers need to become more aware of how things work now. Because I genuinely believe they're shooting themselves in the foot as well as making things much harder for new artists. People are uploading videos constantly to social media, and one of the best ways to gain popularity is to let or even encourage people to cover your songs. This allows your music to spread to a wide audience in a very organic way that will gain you far more die-hard fans than any sterile corporate marketing campaign.
Did he really start that off by saying the music industry has changed dramatically over the last 20 years? Do you know how smart Don Henley is? Go watch some of the documentaries. Glenn Frey both and Don Henley is about as smart of a customer as you get when it comes to somebody managing a rock band. He doesn't think Don Henley's aware of something called Facebook. He doesn't think Don Henley understands. Don, use social media. Let all these dummies out here play your covers. Don, you'll get more fans. Don had no idea that he could use social media in 2023. And the movie reviewers do the same thing. Every one of them, I'm going to rewrite The Force Awakens, and here's what they should have done. And they're Disney's really trying, and the way they rewrite it is and are a great idea. All they had to do, Disney, is go to these movie reviewers who may have the YouTube channels, and they could have replaced Rian Johnson. It's this guy. How can he not realize that there's at least something else going on? I don't expect him to see Not Nilk the way we do. Does he really think Don Henley's not aware of how to get his music out in the best way, in the most fan-friendly fashion? It's all a script. What Metallica did 20 years ago with the Recording Industry of America, Metallica, it's all a script. It's so friggin' frustrating. Nobody but us can see it. This is a screenshot from recent videos, or relatively recent videos, from Just Some Guy YouTube channel. I think that and Dave Cullen, they're the only two that I'm subscribed to. I keep up with this stuff a little bit, but I might still be subscribed to some others, but I only watch that guy Dave and this Just Some Guy. And he sees a little bit more, but he doesn't see it either. And the reason I'm bringing this to your attention, he's on several occasions tried to offer a rewrite, saying this is what this company should have done with this movie or with this series. And his rewrite ideas are very good. So, but again, let me get this straight. Some guy on YouTube can rewrite it, but Disney, that has access or supposedly access to 1,000 of the top creative minds in the world, they even call these people Imagineers, they can't get it done. Well, Matt, don't you know it was just Kathleen Kennedy and Rian Johnson? They took it over. And then why would the Disney management let two people hijack it when they have access to 1,000 other great minds they call Imagineers? So this guy that does this YouTube channel, he can rewrite it, but Disney can't figure it out. It's so common sense, or I should say a lack of common sense. I don't expect everybody to just come along and say, Matt, now I see Not Nilk. But they don't see anything that we see. It's just unbelievable. All right, to the dope movie reviewers, and I'm giving Just Some Guy and Dave a pass. The rest are dolts. Let's do this one more time. Do you think Disney knows about something called the focus group so they can see what their fans want? Do you think they can they did this in 1945. Either Romans probably did it in 2000 BC, or bring people in and say, do you want this from your Emperor Commodus? Do you want this served? Or even food. You want to try this food? This is the new Dorito. I wouldn't buy that if you paid me. Thank you, sir, for your feedback. They can then ask people what they want. Do you want your Luke Skywalker exploring alternative lifestyles? They know what the fans want. They don't do this anymore because they read every email, they read every tweet, they read every Reddit post, they look at the thumbs up. They know exactly what the fans want. So if they're not giving the majority of their fans what they want, see, then something else is going on. So it comes back to this. Do you movie reviewers believe that these corporations are out to make money? Now, you know what we would say, but what would they say or have to say? Is there any other explanation where these movie reviewers wouldn't they all have to say, well, yeah, they want to make money? Well, if they want to make money, why are they doing things that, forget reading thousands of tweets and email posts and threads, that bring 10 people, book it into the room, book 10 people into your room, and you could tell the 9 out of 10 would I don't want that. Don't you dare ruin my Star Wars like that, you son of a bitch. You bring 10 people into the room and you would know. One focus group. You could just bring in a Domino's pizza. It wouldn't cost you anything. Disney can't figure this out. Now, either these movie reviewers are the dumbest sons of bitches on the face of the earth, or they're on some sort of download or frequency where they just simply can't see the truth like everybody else we deal with, or their offices are right there in the CIA and the NSA, and they work for the alphabet agencies, and they get dark ops strategy instructions, and the men in black come in and tell them what to say. I mean, either way, it doesn't make sense to us, and we're the only ones, as usual, that stand out in a reality that's basically the Titanic, the reality that's now at the bottom of the ocean. Thanks for listening.